Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is both an honor and a responsibility I hold in high esteem to appear before the people of Ghana to present the performance report of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as part of the government's laudable initiative, the Government Accountability Series. This platform reflects the vision of our President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to embed transparency, accountability, and participatory governance into every fiber of public service. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which I am profoundly honored to lead, derives its core mandate from Chapter 6, Articles 40, 73 to 75 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. We serve as the principal institution responsible for the formulation, execution, and coordination of Ghana's foreign policy. To achieve this, our operations are implemented through a robust and dynamic institutional structure comprising 27 functional bureaux and specialized units at the ministry's headquarters in Accra, including the Accra International Conference Center, the Passport Office, the Foreign Service Institute, and the Edu Lodge. We are also an international conglomerate. We operate through a network of 62 diplomatic missions and 10 consulates general, spread across strategic countries and regions around the globe. We also provide policy direction and oversight for 3 key subvented institutions: the All Africa Students Union, the Legon Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy, LESIAD, and the National African Peer Review Mechanism, NAPRM, Governing Council. Since assuming office on the 7th of February 2025, I have been guided by a transformative vision of diplomacy that is driven by the national interests, people-centered, development-oriented, grounded in integrity, and anchored on tangible outcomes. We have been committed to making the ministry more responsive to the needs of Ghanaians, more accountable in the use of public resources, and more effective in advancing Ghana's global interests. On my first day in office, I inaugurated 2 major reform committees, the first being the Passport Reforms Committee, which was tasked with conducting a comprehensive review of the existing passport application system. This committee's mandate included identifying bottlenecks, improving operational efficiency, reducing turnaround time, and enhancing the integrity and security of our travel document in accordance with international best practices. The second committee was on the welfare of Ghanaians. I inaugurated the committee on the same day I inaugurated the Passport Reforms Committee. It is known as the Committee on Migration and the Welfare of Ghanaians Abroad. They developed far-reaching framework to address the protection, rights, and development-oriented engagements of the Ghanaians in the diaspora. The goal was to create sustainable pathways for diaspora investment, welfare interventions, particularly during crisis, and to strengthen institutional mechanisms that support our citizens abroad. In response to international crisis, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has demonstrated both agility and commitment to the protection of Ghanaian citizens abroad. In this vein, I wish to express government's deep concern over the recent unfortunate clashes in Gbenyiri in the Savannah region of Ghana near the borders with neighboring Côte d'Ivoire and Burkina Faso, resulting in the loss of lives and displacement of Ghanaians in both countries. I promptly directed Ghana's embassies in Côte d'Ivoire and Burkina Faso to actively collaborate with Ivorian and Burkinabe authorities to ramp up necessary consular assistance to our compatriots. In addition, I have personally been to Côte d'Ivoire since Friday, the 12th of September 2025. Indeed, I'm returning to Accra only this morning. During my 3-day working visit, I held discussions with my Ivorian counterpart, His Excellency Kaku Huaja Leon Adom, about the displaced Ghanaians in Côte d'Ivoire. After the talks, I led a team to the Bukani region, where some 13,253 displaced compatriots originally sought refuge. My visit was aimed at conveying a special message from President John Dramani Mahama to conduct further assessment of the situation for additional consular assistance, to express Ghana's gratitude to our Ivorian counterparts, and to offer immediate assistance. During my visit, I discovered that about 8,000 Ghanaians have safely returned home. The latest census conducted revealed that the remaining number of Ghanaians in Côte d'Ivoire is 5,309. 5,309, no more 13,253. I delivered a special message from President Mahama, which was a message of peace and forgiveness, and a message appealing to all our compatriots to return home, since government has beefed up security and ensured that normalcy is restored. On behalf of President Mahama, I donated 6 million CFA to cover urgent humanitarian needs and to facilitate logistical requirements for their safe return home. This donation is distinct from other relief items, including food, water, blankets, and medicines already provided through NADMO. I have also engaged my Burkinabe counterpart, His Excellency Karamoko Jean-Marie Traoré, on the welfare of our displaced compatriots, who are about 1,455, a reduction from the tally of 2,500 refugees during the peak of the conflict. In the Kwera area within the southwestern region of Burkina Faso, it is worth mentioning that the Foreign Minister of Burkina Faso has expressed pleasant satisfaction at the trend of Ghanaian refugees returning home. My ministry remains steadfast in its commitment to protecting the welfare of Ghanaian citizens abroad. It will continue to work assiduously with the support of the appropriate Ghanaian authorities, as well as the Ivorian and Burkinabe authorities, to provide the necessary assistance to our displaced compatriots. No Ghanaian in distress anywhere in the world will be ignored by the Mahama administration. While thanking the government and peoples of Côte d'Ivoire and Burkina Faso, it is worth emphasizing that this episode reminds us to always be embracing and welcoming of our African compatriots. As I was reminded by my colleague foreign ministers, they were keen to stress that Ghana has always provided a safe haven to refugees from Côte d'Ivoire and Burkina Faso, Liberia, Niger, and many other countries, as you all do know. So as they indicated, they are more than happy to return the favor, even if on a much smaller scale. Long live African solidarity. Ladies and gentlemen, similarly, during the recent escalation of hostilities between the Islamic Republic of Iran and the State of Israel, the ministry undertook swift and coordinated diplomatic and logistical interventions to ensure the safety of Ghanaian nationals in the affected region. These efforts culminated in the successful evacuation of 17 citizens, underscoring our unwavering dedication to safeguarding the welfare of Ghanaians, irrespective of their location. This operation is another testament of our capacity for rapid response in times of global uncertainty. It reinforces the importance of maintaining strong diplomatic networks and proactive contingency planning through our missions. I can announce that after 3 months of closure of our embassy in Iran, we shall fully reopen tomorrow, the 16th of September, 2025. Measures have been put in place to guarantee the safety of our diplomatic staff. The ministry remains vigilant in monitoring international developments and stands prepared to act decisively whenever the safety and security of Ghanaian citizens and our foreign service officials are at stake. Still on the subject of the welfare of Ghanaians, we have expanded our focus and are paying special attention to our students studying abroad. As part of a broad diaspora engagement strategy, the ministry has initiated the establishment of student help desks within 11 of our diplomatic missions where student populations are the highest. These desks are equipped to support Ghanaian students with emergency aid and guidance on immigration and other critical matters. This initiative has been implemented without the recruitment of new staff or incurring additional costs, as the desks are manned by reassigned consular staff and will be scaled up to cover all missions in subsequent phases. In line with Ghana's long-standing commitment to Pan-Africanism and regional solidarity, the ministry has actively pursued educational diplomacy. I am pleased to announce that in collaboration with key stakeholders, the ministry is facilitating the implementation of 1,000 scholarships for students from the ECOWAS member states to study here in Ghana. as was announced on the 22nd of April 2025 during the launch of the 50th anniversary of ECOWAS by His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. To this end, an intersectoral committee has been set up to oversee the implementation of these scholarships. This is positioning our country as a hub of educational diplomacy and soft power. Additionally, the ministry is facilitating educational scholarships from partner countries to qualified Ghanaian citizens. So far, approximately 1,500 scholarships in various fields of study from 15 countries have been negotiated and communicated to relevant institutions. From 1st October 2025, all these scholarships being secured by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will be published on the ministry's website to promote transparency, fairness, and improve accessibility to all. I shall now discuss the deportation of some West African nationals from the United States of America. During his first media engagement on 10 September 2025, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama confirmed that Ghana has accepted some West African nationals who had been deported from the United States. Providing further elucidation, the President indicated that the U.S. government had approached Ghana with a request to receive some of these individuals, and his administration agreed to do so, provided they were nationals of West African countries. The President disclosed that the first batch of deportees, numbering 14 people, had already arrived in Accra. Among them were nationals of Nigeria and the Gambia, who have been assisted to return to their respective countries. The government of Ghana took the principled and humanitarian decision to accept the limited number of West African nationals deported from the United States under exceptional circumstances, in line with Ghana's long-standing Pan-African ideals and unwavering commitment to regional solidarity. Many of these individuals were being held in detention, which was both psychologically and physically distressing. They were also faced with the risk of being deported to countries that are not safe and do not have the stability and human rights credentials Ghana is famed for. You need to note that President Trump has secured a positive verdict from the US Supreme Court that he could go ahead and remove these nationals and dump them anywhere. As a nation that upholds the dignity and rights of all people, particularly those of African descent, Ghana's action was guided solely by our moral responsibility, our legal obligations under the 1992 Constitution and ECOWAS protocols, our distinguished Pan-African track record, and historic and legendary leadership in championing the rights of all Africans. Let me emphasize that under this understanding with the United States, Ghana must first independently vet the background of those the US intends to deport, to first satisfy ourselves that they do not pose any threat to the security of our country and that they cannot harm our citizens. We have put in place strict safeguards to ensure that convicted, hardened criminals cannot be brought into our country under this understanding. The Mahama administration will never compromise the safety and well-being of Ghanaians. This understanding with the US has been thoroughly discussed by Cabinet and has also received the Attorney General's advice. By established convention, MOUs are not sent to Parliament for ratification. I have inherited hundreds of MOUs from the previous administration, which were not sent to Parliament for ratification. May I assure the nation that if this initial understanding is elevated into a full-blown agreement, we shall not hesitate to comply with Article 75 of the 1992 Constitution by proceeding to Parliament for ratification. President Mahama carried out full disclosure at his media encounter because he's a staunch believer in the principles of transparency and accountability. In addition, he has absolutely nothing to hide on this matter. It is important to stress and to state unequivocally that Ghana has not received and does not seek any financial compensation or material benefit in relation to this understanding. Our decision is grounded purely on humanitarian principle and Pan-African solidarity, to offer temporary refuge where needed, to prevent further human suffering, and to maintain our credibility as a responsible regional actor. Ghana's decision must be understood as an act of Pan-African empathy. It is not transactional. Like Rwanda, Eswatini, Uganda, South Sudan, who are welcoming fellow Africans, we are standing up for our brothers and sisters in distress. And this should not be misconstrued as an endorsement of the immigration policies of the Trump administration. It is worth emphasizing that since the days of our forebears, Ghana has hosted freedom fighters, welcomed all Africans in the diaspora, offered them safe haven, resources, citizenship, and even our passports. That is why we are seen as the Mecca of Pan-Africanism. We shall not depart from that inspiring track record.